Greetings, I am Tom Earl, and this is my year of adventure. We know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you are here today sharing your greatest gifts, your time and energy, means the world to me. I hope you know in this moment that you are valued, you are loved, and you are appreciated just as you are. We are now on day 5 of Manifest Your Adventure. Today we'll cover your perfect day. I loved going through this workshop with the people who were a part of it. This is probably one of my favorite days. I love all of them, but this was especially one of my favorite days of this 7-day program. If you're listening to this out of order, go back and listen to the very first one, day 1. The adventure begins. You'll want to go through these each in order as they build upon each other. I'm appreciating all of the texts and DMs and comments and everything with y'all, sharing love for my family and I as we're spending time with our child during this paternity leave that I am on. So if you want to go through any other courses, of course, tomerl.com/courses is where you'll find those. Time management courses, leadership development courses, courses on creative expression. We got tons of them there for you. Any questions you have, of course, let me know at Tom Earl Artists. With that said, let me get out of the way. Let's jump right in. Let the theme music drop. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of Manifest Your Adventure. It's truly a pleasure and an honor to have you here with us today. I know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you are here at the Celebration Academy, I appreciate the heck out of that, my friends. I know I sound like a broken record, but it is a record that's actually fixed and is wonderful. It really, you can never gets old showing gratitude. It's always fresh. And so every time I want to express my gratitude to you for being here, look at you, day 5. This would be like the Friday of your work week. It's truly a pleasure to have you here. You know how we get started. Let's get our intentions aligned with our energy and our breath. There is such a power to ritual, to starting something in a way that has meaning and intention. So here's what we're going to do. You already know we're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. As we breathe in, stretch, think, or reach up. Here we go. Breathe in and release. Ooh, I can already feel better. Here we go. Breathe in and release. Yes, here we go. And this next one, I want you to think of what is something you love and appreciate about yourself, about you, about who you are. What is something you love and appreciate and you want to honor about who you are? Think on that. What is one thing you love and appreciate about who you are? And as we breathe in on this next time, I want you to really hold yourself with the love and appreciation of that thought. And feel your body just vibrate with that self-love, excitement, and appreciation for who you are and your role on this earth. Here we go. On the count of 3, breathe in. Feel that love and appreciation for self. And release. There you go. Well, we've had an epic last 4 days. We've talked about you on the start of your grand and epic adventure. We have then talked about what does that adventure look like. We then had an intentional conversation on what does success mean to you, defining it for yourself. And then yesterday, or whenever you listen to this, we had that conversation on failure and talked about celebrating failure and having an empowering relationship with failure. Today, we want to get playful and have some fun. We want to have some big, bold, beyond the star dreams around what does your perfect day look like? This one is such a fun activity. I do this with people all the time. Often when I'm coaching somebody, we usually start with this activity and we check in on it at least once a month because it's so fun. It's really energizing to have fun visualizations, to have exciting visualizations, because it starts to give you that fuel, that excitement to move in the direction of your passion. The famous saying, follow your bliss. And if you don't know what it is, if you don't know what's joyful to you, if you don't know what gets you excited, well, then there's really no compass for it. So having these opportunities to go through these kind of exercises is really important and empowering. Really excited for you to go through it and to hear what people responded and the great time we all had together. And I want to invite you to be a part of that. So here we go. Without further ado, let's jump in to day 5. I just wanted to thank you all for once again being here today. Really means a lot. Really appreciated all our conversations that we've been having on our adventures, success, what it means to us, what we've all shared. Today we're going to go through and try to find some applicable things we can do in our day-to-day. So before we had big visions of the big picture, now we want to get a vision for our everyday. And just to start us off though, what we're going to do is toss Dr. Pig to somebody in the circle, and you can ask them a clarifying question about anything that you remember them saying in previous days, or just any question you have for that person in general about success, manifesting, creating a dream, anything like that.
So we're asking the question once we get Dr. Pig?
You're going to throw it to somebody.
Okay.
And then ask them a question.
About their dreams.
About their dreams, about manifesting, anything we've been talking about in these workshops.
Okay.
Who would like to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Tasneem,
Yes, Rami.
since we last spoke, have you taken any steps towards realizing one of your dreams?
Oh, thank you, Rami. Let me see. What have I been up to? I've been doing a lot. I guess one of my all-time dreams is just being in this is to really I did this weekend retreat this past weekend, and I don't know, just going into that space and coming out of that space, I felt a deeper sense of like, yes, I'm in the right place and I am doing like, and just trusting myself more in terms of like, okay, I'm doing it well, you know, and I'm on my way type of a thing. So not saying I'm perfect or anything like that, but just that sense of inner knowing and appreciation of I'm on my way. And so that's going towards my dream in the sense that like that's what I see for myself, right? Is to create spaces where I'm bringing people of differences and different backgrounds and really having them get to know one another and build that trust and that bond. And I feel like that really did happen this weekend. And it felt really good to be part of that space and to show up in that space intentionally. So that's the step that I took, is to show up intentionally, trust myself as I was there, and walk away with the sense of gratitude for what it was.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tasneem.
Yeah.
Can we step it up for Tasneem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is, if we could just capture, what is the yes? Where you said I felt
yes.
the yes. What is that? How do you know those moments, or what does it feel like where you felt the yes?
Yeah. I think in the moments when I was challenged in whatever way, and I still took a deep breath, and that was my breath was my yes. And my breath was an indicator of me trusting myself and just saying or showing up again in the way it felt right in that moment.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I also heard you use the word yes as you just felt this connection to the moment of this is exactly where I'm supposed to be in life.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because you then said later, and it's a good indicator that I'm on my way to where I should be. But I think even more importantly, it's an indicator that you actually have arrived at where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because we all experience those, but we don't always take the opportunity to bask in that moment.
Yes.
So thank you for that gem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So who would you like to throw to next? We have Adora and Rami and Tom. So you got a lot of people to choose from.
Ooh, all right. I'll throw it to Adora.
Okay. What's your question for Adora?
Oh, she dropped it.
Adora, have you had a moment of, since we last met, any further thoughts on the relationship between success and failure? You know, like how those two go hand in hand or not for you?
I do think they go hand in hand. I think it's very rare for success to come without a string of failures behind you. And I think also success feels much more real when you've had a bunch of failures. I think people who just go through life succeeding endlessly don't necessarily appreciate it and don't always even strive to be their best. But if you failed, you've learned a lot from your failures, hopefully. And hopefully are not too discouraged to continue. And then once you continue, you win at success, and it's probably a better quality success because you've tried all the things that would maybe lead you astray down the line. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Adora. Can we please snap it up for Adora?
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you.
Yes. And who are you throwing it to next? Oh, to me? Okay.
So, Tom, once you get to success, what do you think is important about making sure you relish it while you're there instead of worrying about when it'll end? And also how you can just build on it to perhaps help other people become more successful themselves. So I think the first part, especially recognizing that you're there and how you can make sure that your head is in the right place to enjoy it rather than just moving on to the next thing.
Thank you for that question, Adora. It's a great one, an important one. I think for me, the first part of the question, once you get to success, is that I'm already at success and that there are things that I believed to be impossible or near impossible that I could never achieve. For instance, launching this school or lots of different things like that, and that I have already achieved. But I know I'm inferring that you mean when I reach success on a more massive scale. I think success is a lot like social media in that it doesn't necessarily change who you are. It magnifies who you are. It amplifies it. And similar to how we have both been taught that the way you manage your money now, whether or not you have $10 in the bank or $5, or when you have $1 million in the bank, we all think that as soon as I get $1 million in the bank, then I'm going to start doing money management, or then I'm going to start donating. But if you're not able to donate $1 out of $10, you're not going to donate 100,000 out of $1 million. All that to say that I assume, be using the same practices I'm doing now for perspective, is remembering to always have an attitude of gratitude. Always practicing that my attention gives direction. And when I focus on, if let's say 9 things are going right, 1 thing's going wrong, I have the choice to focus on the one that's going wrong and let that amplify and influence the way I interact with my life and the world. Vice versa, if 1 thing's going right and 9 are going wrong, I can give all my energy to the 9 and forget about the 1 thing that's going right, or remember that 1 thing is going right, dive into that and give it my energy. In addition, I think though, when you start to get the greater and greater success and the responsibility that comes with it, the pressure and the real-time problems that come faster and faster is I'll do what I'm doing now is to continue to surround myself with amazing and empowering people and people who have expertise and ways of looking at life that are different than my own. I also know one thing I'm going to do is keep friends who will keep Tom Earl #humble, who will give it to him real, who don't want to visit his website or download his new song or follow him on Snapchat. You know, those people who have been there from the beginning, or even if they haven't been there from the beginning, they keep you humble. So those are the things I'm going to keep doing. But I enjoyed your question. Was I able to answer your question for you?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I've seen you practice that at this level of success. And I'm very curious to see how you'll continue to practice this at the greater levels of success ahead of you. It's very, you hear how much power corrupts absolutely. So it's always very interesting to see how people are once they are near the pinnacle of their own achievements.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Adora. Can we show Tom some love?
Yeah.
Okay. Who should I throw it to? I think I'll go with Rami.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. So, Rami, my question for you is, oh yeah, throw it. I'm curious, similar to Tasneem's answer of, have you had any moments in the past month or so where you felt that sense of, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be? And it doesn't have to be profound, even if it was at the stoplight or something.
Yes. No, it wasn't at the stoplight. I would prefer to not be at a stoplight in my life. Sometimes I feel like I am at a stoplight, and that's frustrating. I want green lights. So thanks for bringing that up, that metaphor. Yes. Last week, I had an opportunity in which to perform, and it was being filmed for a story on Fusion Media. So that's coming out. And what's really great is this story is using my identity as a way, my identity as a theater artist and my identity as a community organizer, specifically around like queer Muslim identity. This story is able to bridge those two identities, which is what I've always wanted. Like, I can't ever separate. I am a theater artist. I'm a queer Muslim. And the more that those two identities can intersect at the same time, the more I feel like I'm truly living being my true self. So to be able to perform on stage and it being filmed for a story around the queer Muslim work I'm doing, is made me feel like, oh, this is exactly the path I want to be on. And my struggle is, how do I seize whatever energy or power that comes from that story, and how do I use that to keep pushing me forward? Because like little milestones like that are nice, but sometimes they just sort of like are that, and then it fades. And I want to use that to push me into the next chapter of my life, which is something I said in our first session or early on together, where I said I feel like I'm trying to get into the next chapter of my life. I did say that.
Yeah, definitely. Can we snap it up for the amazing Rami?
Ta-da.
That was wonderful. I think what's really helpful is getting into the next chapter of our lives is recognizing the times we did bring about a vision that we had. And so I remember you saying in our previous sessions that you really wanted to be on stage or the producer or somehow involved in theater that creates transformations. And in just a short period of time, you already did that in a powerful way.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just don't want them to always be like singular events, you know?
Yeah. What do you think what kind of emotions or mindset do you think was in place that brought about even this one, though? I understand you saying that you want it to be more systemic, but even just this one, what do you think are some thoughts you were thinking or emotions you were feeling that allowed that to come into your life?
It's going to sound maybe a little cliche, but I would say I just truly showed up. I was 100% authentic and sincere and present in the moment. And I feel like I was able to shine because of that. If ever I was trying to put on something or push a message that maybe I feel like was politically necessary, but maybe not exactly sincere, then it wouldn't have felt that way. But I didn't have an agenda. I just showed up and spoke from the heart, or what I presented was true in the moment that it was presented in.
That's amazing.
I love that.
I think for me that really speaks to success in general. That when we try to force things or put on an act or try to make things happen versus instead having no agenda, just showing up as our authentic selves and speaking our truth. I found for myself that when I do that compared to hours and hours of effort and staying up late and working on things without the being truth, without an agenda, that the emotional part makes things go way faster than the constant effort.
Exactly. That's exactly what I felt. So thank you for saying it in a succinct way.
Yes, it was deep.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were saying at that retreat that
Yes.
you were feeling
Yes.
just sincere,
And
authentic. Yeah.
Exactly. And I wasn't in the head with the agenda, it's just flowing. So that I'm really resonating with the power of authenticity. And how it feels good, right?
it
It
does.
feels like there's this peace inside, and it just feels like I can keep moving forward. So that momentum, what I hear you saying, like not let it be a singular event. I think that momentum comes from feeling that flow or being in that flow.
Exactly. And it
Yeah.
translates to our small goals, like wanting to get all green lights. And our big things, like
Yeah.
the visions that we created in the adventure workshop. So what we're going to be talking about a lot in this workshop today is paying attention to the everyday feelings and thoughts we have of when are we in the agenda, forcing it, it's got to be this way, versus when do we feel that flow of, I don't have an agenda, but I feel great. I'm going to be authentic and speak my truth. And seeing how even something little when we do that, it just comes about.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
Me too.
Let's do it.
What we're going to do now is we've offered a lot of expression tools so far. We've done drawing. We've done the hot potato where you're put on the spot and you have to give an answer in a couple seconds. We've done the 20-second poem. We've done free writing. We've done lots of things. Or if you've been driving and cleaning the house, you've participated in it by doing it in your mind. So we have lots of tools, and I'm going to allow you to use any of those tools for this next exercise. Particularly if you want to draw your answer, if you want to free write your answer, or you want to bulletproof your answer. So what we're going to do is I'm going to verbally walk you through.
Bulletproof?
Did I say bulletproof? Bullet point.
All right, good.
Bullet
I wanted
point.
to make sure.
Appreciate the clarification. What we're going to talk about is what is your vision of your perfect day? So we can express the everyday awesomeness that we want to do. So,
What is our perfect day?
and I'm going to walk you through it.
Okay.
Before we start, some ways I've had people do this is they draw 2 lines down the middle of their piece of paper, so you have 4 equal boxes. One box is morning, afternoon, nighttime, bedtime. You can do it like that, or I'm going to verbally walk you through what's your morning like, what's your afternoon like, what's your night like, now you're coming home, what is this? But you can do whatever you want if you just want to draw it, or if you want to do it in a way where you've quadranted off your day. It's up to you. Does that make sense? So take out your pen if you're going to write, marker if you're going to draw. First thing we're going to talk about is our personal life. So imagine that I have a magic wand, or somebody has a magic wand, And they make it so that no matter what you do, you cannot do anything that has anything to do with your work life. Even if you're saying to me, but Tom, my work life is my passion. It's not something that I dislike going to. I live for it. That's cool, but you can't do anything about it. So check email. If social media has anything to do with work, you can't go on social media. You can't do anything that has to do at all with your work life, even if your work life is the thing that brings you the most amount of pleasure in the world. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to go through and you're going to talk about if you had unlimited amount of resources, which you do, and whatever, you could be anywhere you wanted. You could do anything you want to do. What would your ideal day look like? So it could be, you're going to tell me about an ideal vacation. It could be, you're going to tell me about the everyday routines you're going to do. It could be, you're going to have dinner with Beyonce and lunch with Nicki Minaj and breakfast with Rihanna. I'm describing my day. So it's up to you. However you want to, there's no obstacles. I want you to be as out of the box or in the box as you want to be, as long as you're doing it from your highest self of envisioning. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to walk us through a day. You can ignore me or you can participate in the prompts I'm giving. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. So you wake up and it is your dream day. Your first thoughts are what? And as those thoughts flow through you, you start feeling feelings of what? And as those feelings and words are going through your mind, you look over at the clock and you see it is what time? And you smile knowing, of course, since this is my perfect day, I got how much hours of sleep? And now you've thought your thought, you feel your emotions, looked at the clock and got as much sleep as you wanted to, and now you get out of bed, and the first thing you do when you get out of bed is what? What is the first thing you do? You get a glass of water, do you go to the bathroom, do you brush your teeth, do you meditate, do you give your partner a hug, do you call your mom, do you water your plants? And after you've done your first thing, you go into your morning routine. What does your morning routine look like? Is it working out? Is it eating? Do you listen to your favorite podcast, The Celebration by Tom Earl? Okay. Now you're getting ready to leave the house or stay in the house or whatever you want to do on your perfect day. What do? Your morning routine's done. You've thought your thoughts. What do you do next? What is the next part of your morning, or if you got up late, the next part of your early rising look like? And it's almost lunchtime, so you're just rounding off that last part of your pre-lunch day. Is there any last minute people that you're seeing, or any last sights or things you're doing? And now it is lunchtime. On your perfect day, what does lunch look like? Do you eat by yourself? Do you eat with a friend? Do you eat with a mentor? And what do you eat? Where do you eat? Is it a home-cooked meal you made yourself, that your chef made, that your mom made, that a celebrity chef made, that you flew in? What is your lunch looking like? And now you're wrapping up your lunch, finishing that up with whoever it is. And what do you do next with the rest of your afternoon part? Do you go somewhere? Do you sleep? Do you draw? Still cannot be work. Nothing to do with work. Just your personal life. What do you do during the rest of that afternoon? Do you go somewhere? Go for a bike ride? Do you go see the Eiffel Tower? Do you fly somewhere? Do you go hang out at the beach? Do you draw? Do you read a book? And you're finishing up the rest of your afternoon, and it's getting almost towards dinner time. What are maybe some few things you do before dinner time? Okay, and now it's Tom Merrill's second favorite part of the day. It's dinner. What do you do for dinner on your dream day for your personal life? Do you have dinner with some friends, with family, with a significant other? Is it a date with somebody you've never met before? Is it with a mentor? Is it overlooking a beautiful mountain view? What are some things you see? What are you eating? What are you tasting? What are your senses taking in? Did you make it? Did somebody else make it? Is it a restaurant you've always wanted to go to? Or is it a restaurant that you've gone to many times before? And maybe even look at the clock. What time is it? What time do you eat dinner on your ideal day? And dinner's wrapping up. And now you're going into the last part of your day. That part that's in between dinner and bedtime. What do you do with the rest of your time? Do you relax? Do you go to a concert? Do you go out with friends? Do you go see a movie? So now it's time for bed. You're getting ready for bed. What time is it where you're about to start going for bed? What do you do to unwind? Do you meditate? Do you have a late night dessert? And where are you going to sleep? Is it the same place you woke up? Different place? Different part of the world? Are you on Mars? Are you on a plane, sleeping on your way to somewhere else? And who's around you? Are you in a house full of people you love? Are you sharing a bed with someone you love? Where are you? What's going on? What are some of the sounds and the sights? What are you doing to relax before you go to sleep? And now you've done all the things you do before you go to bed, and you're just about ready to go to bed. You look at the clock and you see it's whatever time, and you think, it's the perfect time I'd go to bed because this is my perfect day. And just before you fall asleep, you have one last thought. And what is that thought? Anything else I missed that you want to write about your perfect day? Go ahead. Okay, awesome. Right away now, without taking a pause, we are going to move on to our professional life, our perfect vision of our professional life. So if you want to draw, you want to free write, you want a quadrant, whatever that may be. Now with your professional life, I want you to think of your perfect day for your professional life. But it can include some things from your personal life, because if for instance, your professional life is you work 5 hours and the rest of the day is your personal life, or they're intertwined, you like a good work-life balance, it's totally up to you. So these can intertwined. But usually for the achievers, it's like all work. So that's why we started with your personal day. Same thing, you can draw, you can ignore me, or if you want to hear me walk you through it, we can do that as well. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Okay, here we go. It is your perfect professional life day. You wake up and your first thought is what? What are you feeling as you first wake up on your perfect professional life day? And you look at the clock and you see it's what time? And you say, I'm so glad I got how many hours of sleep? And then you jump out of bed, and what are the first things you do? What is your routine, your morning routine? Do you meditate? Do you read something inspirational? Do you go for a run? Okay. What do you eat for breakfast? Do you eat breakfast on the go? Is it a smoothie? Post-workout drink? Do you eat it while you're being driven somewhere? Do you eat it with family? Do you eat it in the office? Is your office at home? But now you're still in the morning, but it's your work day. What are you doing? Where are you? Where are you at? Who are you surrounded by? What does your workplace look like? Is it in an office, corner office, overlooking a beautiful view? Is it in the recording studio? Is it at a seminar? Is it in an ambulance because you're a paramedic? Is it in a plane you're about to jump out of because you're a stunt person. And it is almost lunch. So what are the last few things you do before lunch on your dream day for your professional life? And now it is lunch. When do you eat lunch on your professional day? Do you eat with some business associates? Do you do a working lunch? What is on your ideal day? Everything's going right. What do you eat? Where do you eat? Do you come home, eat lunch with family? Do they come meet you in the office? Do you go to your kids' school, eat with them there? Are you on a plane because you're on your way to somewhere eating lunch? What do you do for your dream lunch? And who's with you? Who are you eating with on your lunch? What are you talking about? What are the conversations you're having? You finish up lunch, and it's the rest of the day before dinner. What are some other things you're doing before dinner? What, maybe some meetings? Do you take a nap before you go back into the rest of the day? Do you go back to the same office, or do you go somewhere else? Who are some people you meet? What are some of the highlights of your day that would happen? The impact that you have? And it's almost getting dinner time. What are the last things you do before dinner time? And now it is dinner time. What time is it? What time are you having dinner on your perfect professional life day? And what are you doing for dinner? Are you at home? Are you having dinner with your team? Is it a business meeting? What are you doing for dinner on your perfect professional day? Where are you eating? What are you eating? How are you eating? Who are you with? What are the conversations you're having? What are the things you're saying? And dinner is now finished up. What are the last things you do before it's time to start getting ready for bed on your perfect professional life day? Maybe for you, on your perfect professional life day, you were at home by 4 or 5 o'clock, you had dinner, and now you're in a softball league or hockey league or group of friends you hang out with every night, or you're taking your kids somewhere, or you're going for a walk with a loved one. What are you doing after dinner on your dream life professional day? And think of any last things that you would do in your dream life professional day before getting ready for bed. Any last things? Now it's bedtime. What time is it? What time are you going to bed on your ideal vision of your perfect professional day? What time are you going to bed? What are some things you do to relax and unwind from the day? And finally, after all of that, you lay your head down on your pillow. You look next to you and you see the clock. And what time is it? What time are you going to sleep? Where are you going to sleep? Is it the same place you woke up? Who's with you in the building or the house you're in or the hotel? Is anyone in the room with you or in the bed with you? And you're just about to fall asleep. And your last thought before you go to bed is what? Last couple seconds, write down anything else that you want to write down. And when you're ready, just give me a thumbs up. Hooray!
Yay.
Yay.
Snap it up for yourselves. Okay, let's start with our perfect personal day. Who can share with us some things from your perfect personal day?
That was hard.
It was hard?
Yeah.
Would you mind elaborating on that?
I think what made it hard for me was the clear cut between the personal and professional. And I realized that how much of the work, like when I wake up, I'm actually thinking about work versus personal. And so it's almost as if I fit the personal into the work versus the other way around.
Yeah.
And so that's why it was hard. And the other thing that made it hard was like, oh, so if I wasn't thinking about work, then what would I love to do, you know? So it's simple stuff for me right now, like walk on the beach, call my parents, like check in, write, stuff like that. But I don't know if that's, I'd probably want more, like more fun, more, cool stuff. It feels good right now, but I can make it juicier.
How much sleep did you get?
I said 7 hours.
7 hours? Oh my God.
No? Why?
I'd be so tired.
Oh,
Wow. For your perfect day, 7 hours.
well,
You can hear the judgment in my voice. I'm sorry.
I can have more. I definitely have days where I have more than 7, but that seems like, if it's a perfect day, then it's also like a healthy lifestyle and something that is not the exception, but the norm. And so, in that regard, 7 hours sounds good to me. So, more than 6, less than 8 is okay, but 7 to 8.
Mine would be 10
Yeah.
on my perfect day. 10, probably 10 and a half.
Nice.
What did you have for lunch?
Nothing I have now.
What do you mean?
But I said salads and juice and stuff like that. Because I'm thinking like I want to have like one good meal. And for me, the one good meal would be dinner, more so lunch. So something lighter for lunch would be nice.
And
Yeah.
where did you go to bed in the same place that you woke up?
Yeah. At home.
At home?
Yeah. Home's good.
What did your house look like?
Oh. Comfy.
Comfy? Is it in California?
Yes. Yes. In California. Close to family. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to be so vivid in my visualizing of all of this.
Well, thank you for sharing with us. Can we snap it up for Tasneem?
Thanks, Tasneem.
I agree. Thank you very much, Tasneem. Rami, would you like to go next?
Can Adora go first?
Okay, you'd like for Adora to go. Adora, would you be willing to go next?
Sure, I'll go first. Describing my perfect personal day.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, let's do this. I wake up on the Orient Express with my love and kids. And my first thoughts are, ooh, I wonder where we're stopping today. This is so awesome. While the train is still moving and pulling into wherever it's going to, we have breakfast of croissants and hot chocolate and other fruit and vegetables and fun things. The train stops at some gorgeous town in Tuscany in Italy. And we all head out for a cooking lesson of local food. And then after that, we've cooked, we sit down to a great meal. And then after that, we nap for a bit so that we feel super refreshed. And then we all go for a 2-hour hike or walk through gorgeous territory, lakes, rivers, fresh flowers, and then maybe even some interesting historical sites. And by then, everyone's kind of slightly tired. So we go home, shower, rest a little bit more, and then we all, either put the kids to bed or we all go out and maybe go and see a comedian perform in English/Italian or whatever language that they do locally. And it's both hilarious and also non-offensive. And then we go somewhere where we can maybe dance a little to some 90s music. And by the time we're done, we are pretty tired. So we get back to the train, shower, maybe eat something more if we're still hungry. But probably by then we are all fully fed. Maybe watch a fun TV show or read whatever interesting novel I'm reading at the moment. And go to sleep with the train chugging away, heading to the next fun place on its stop.
Thank you, Adora.
Thanks, Adora.
Thank you.
Can we snap it up for Adora?
That was great, Adora.
Yay!
Thank you for sharing.
Now I don't want to go. That was too good.
Rami, before you go, Tasneem had expressed in the beginning that this was a difficult exercise. Out of curiosity, what was it like for you? Was it hard?
It was not that. I didn't find it difficult. It was quite lovely.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, and it was also quite nice as to these are real. I do really do spend days like this. Like it's not this other world that doesn't exist. But I included some nature. As soon as you said perfect day, I just like pictured like a beautiful scenic vista. It's like, I think I imagine waking up and I open my French doors.
Aw.
And I don't have French doors now.
Yeah.
So this is like an ideal home that I'm not living in currently. And then I open it up to like Yosemite.
Oh, I love it.
And it's like, so it's like cliffs and mountains and water and rocks and trees, and I can just put on a little hang glide and just run and jump and go see the world around me. That's like that's a perfect day. I also have a pool in that backyard beyond the French doors, so maybe the first thing I would do is take a dip before like getting on my hang glide and seeing all the other nature. I also have some prayer, playing with my cats, laughing with a friend, and at one point I'd like some romance. Ooh. Whether it's like a romantic dinner or maybe it's a hang glide for two. Or three or four. I think I naturally have an adventurous spirit, but I know I'm a homebody too. So that's why all of this stuff needs to be like right outside my doorstep. I don't want to spend a lot of time getting there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does.
Totally.
That's amazing.
So it's like I want to be at home.
Yeah.
I really want to be at home, and I want everything I want to be just steps away.
That's amazing.
And I think I can have it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Let's do it.
Can we step it up around me?
Yeah.
You didn't ask me what I was eating for lunch.
What were you eating for lunch?
I don't know. Pasta. It's hard. Just that stuff, when it came to meals, I couldn't be that. I couldn't imagine. I'll just say that's not something I'm kind of, because I crave different things different days. Like if I had pasta, I would probably get bored with that every day.
Oh yeah.
Do you know on this particular day? I know there'd be variety in the day. Did you say, were you eating at home? Were you going out? Were you eating with people? Were you eating by yourself?
Maybe one meal is with another person, and maybe it's out. But for the most part, I'm home alone with my cats. The romance, I didn't see it as being in the house. I see it as a romantic adventure outside the house.
That's awesome. And how much sleep did you get on your perfect day?
8 to 10 hours.
There we go.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom has a lot of value judgment, so sleep.
I do think we're socialized to neglect sleep in our lives.
But there are days where even now, if I have nothing to do, I could sleep 12 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You too?
I can, yeah. I can wake up and go right back to sleep too.
Yeah. I agree. Sleep's so important.
Yes.
I've really found this year that sleep is one of the most important factors in my mental and physical health. Even more than water and food. Sleep. So.
What about you, Tom?
What about me? You'd like me to go? Okay. Well, on my vision of a perfect day, as you've guessed, I get 10 hours of sleep minimum.
That sounds so Tom. Totally Tom.
Well, what can I say? When it comes to sleep, I'm predictable. And I'm somewhere really remote, surrounded by nature, probably in a cabin or something like that. And I'm surrounded by people that I love. And all day, I have plenty and ample time to read a lot. And I have an amazing book that I'm on that it's a page turner or a tablet swiper to be more accurate. And sometime during the day, maybe before or after lunch, I had a chance to go on a really beautiful scenic walk by a waterfall or a really beautiful canyon or smaller mountain, not a huge one where I need equipment, but a beautiful one where I have a really gorgeous view or something, some sort of walk around a lot of lakes and streams. And then, yeah, it'd be before lunch because then afterwards I'd come back to a amazing, delicious meal with some egusi and pounded yam or some vegan Ethiopian food, and some hummus. And we'd all, lots of friends, we'd all be eating together and laughing a lot and joking and just really enjoying each other's company and the amazing food. And then after the delicious food where we all say, oh, why did we eat so much? Even though we know we'll eat that much again for dinner. Then that's my time where I take a little nap and I read. And after reading, go on another little walk just to get the blood moving again. And then I have the opportunity to do some collage art where I just lay out all my art on a big table where I can spread out and a bunch of people, a bunch of my friends. When I say a bunch, maybe 3 to 4, an intimate group. We're just collaging to some nice music in the background, and I create a beautiful picture or some collage art of Serena Williams or Lupita or one of the sheroes that inspire me. So I'm surrounded by really visually inspiring art, and the process afterwards just have us all feeling really energized and connected with one another. And after that, then we look outside and see that the sun's just about to set. And it turns out that our personal chef had seen us doing art and timed it exactly right, that as soon as we finish, we go outside onto a deck that has a mosquito net so we don't have to worry about mosquitoes. And it's a perfect 78 degrees. And we're able to have dinner overlooking a sunset that's setting on a lake. And there's some light, relaxing music in the background. And as we're all eating this huge buffet style, amazing dinner of super delicious food, and we're just enjoying each other's company and laughing. And there's a bunch of bottles of Martinelli's open, and we're just really having a good time. And even after the food's done, we all just keep nibbling and snacking, and the conversations continue. And then after that, we have a really great movie that we've been meaning to see, but just haven't gotten a chance to. And so we go in downstairs or go to wherever the in-house movie theater is, and we all sit down and lounge on sofas and have popcorn and some hummus and celery or something to watch the movie, and it's amazing. And then after that, we go outside, and there's a nice campfire waiting there for us, and we're all sitting around the fire just reminiscing and telling stories about all the wonderful things we're all doing in the world. And we look up, and there's a meteor shower, and just beautiful. You can see the stars, and there's nobody else around for miles and miles. There's no city lights or anything to block out the stars. It's a full moon. And then we come inside, it's maybe around midnight or 12:30, and we're all just feeling super relaxed and refreshed. And then I lay down next to my love, and we're just sharing our gratitudes with how wonderful of a day it was. And as I'm getting ready to fall asleep, my last thoughts are, this life I'm living is the best life ever. It was worth it. Everything along this pathway was worth it. And I always knew that I would arrive at this point because I am always here and I am forever grateful. And those are my last thoughts as I instantly fall asleep without any worry or hesitation or any pause of thinking, come on, brain, turn off, fall asleep. I just go right to sleep. So that would be my perfect day. It has me hungry and excited and wanting to go out into nature right now.
Oh, I think that sounds very, very typical, and also wonderfully sounds like your life now. So this is not something you're aspiring to. This is something you're living at the moment. And I commend you, Tom L.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Can we show Tom some love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I appreciate everyone sharing their vision of their perfect personal day. What was this like for you?
It's encouraging me to make more time to do this and to really like allow myself to go there so I can also vision the Yosemite type, and glide out. I love that vision. Thank you so much for sharing it, Rami.
No problem. I
Yeah.
think it's achievable.
Yes.
I guess if you're on like a mountaintop.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved imagining that being my life. I've always imagined that being my life. In some ways, it seems materialistic. For me to have a life like that, I'd have to be pretty affluent. However, I kind of just want, and I liked imagining myself sort of, being free as a bird.
That's
literally.
amazing.
Well,
it was very inspiring to hear both of your stories, and I don't think we should put any judgment or interrogation on our dreams. From what I heard from both of you, none of it was. My dream would be like a drive-by or to hurt somebody. So nothing I heard.
Yeah.
There's nothing I heard that I think that
Wrong.
that y'all have to interrogate. You know what I mean?
Well, neither one of us said like cure AIDS.
But that might be your professional life.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think is the value in doing an exercise like this specifically for our personal life?
The one thing that's really resonating with me is the stuff in the middle is great. It's exciting. It's fun. It can really motivate me. But the two things that I really liked was the first thought of the day and the last thought of the day. And I think that's a really good way of connecting with the things that are most important. So if it's that free spirit and, then that's important. For me, I just started my day and ended my day with gratitude. And so my first thought in the morning was that I'm so happy and grateful to have another day to be spectacular and, more adjectives around that. And then the last one was just being very grateful to have so much love and just thanking God in that way. So it was good. I think in both the exercises of doing the personal and the professional, I found that to be very anchoring.
That's wonderful. What about for you, Rami? What value do you see in it?
It feels achievable by even putting it down on paper, probably like, I guess, with vision boards. Once it's down, it feels achievable.
Yeah.
And I think it was a previous session we kind of spoke about vision boards.
Yeah.
And I think I had expressed a concern around, well, now that it's on the vision board, I have to do it because then it's achievable. And then so there's this pressure of having to achieve it. This feels a little less pressure, but it feels as real and as achievable.
That's amazing. It's inspiring, too, to hear you say, I'm already doing a lot of this. This feels achievable. This feels doable. One aha moment for me in reflecting upon my personal life was realizing that we all have human needs. Some people have different models for what they are when we name them. But I realized that I was getting the majority of my needs met through my professional life. That those needs, whether it's fulfillment or variety or love, growth, connection, that I was really getting those fulfilled mostly through my professional life, and I wasn't giving much time to my personal life. I resonated with what you were saying, T.H.E.
Yeah.
And I started to think, God, imagine if there could be a world where I could have a weekend, where every week I had 2 days where, Saturday was kind of some fun things and Saturday was just rejuvenating myself. And just saying that was my vision made me realize, like, that's not that big of an ask, Tom Earl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really helps me to then spend intentional time dreaming about what does my personal life look like. So, and I think the excitement pushes us towards it because excitement is emotional fuel. Any last thoughts before we move on to our professional life? No. All right. That was deep. All right. Professional life. Who would like to go first on this one?
I'll go.
Okay.
The professional life I thought was a little harder because I think I'm too lazy to want to work all day. Because what I wrote in terms of professional is very pleasurable, but it also seems exhausting.
Okay. Why don't you break it down for us?
Well, I have a book, so at some point in my professional life, I'm either writing it or reading it. I read tangent. I read that highly successful people spend at least 30 minutes a day reading. And then I have a little typewriter here. Not that I write on one, but I could. So there's reading, there's writing, there's me directing. I'm saying hold to a bunch of live actors on stage. But at one point, I'm also on stage performing. So I will say my professional life, because I have so many different goals, and I feel like I have so many different professional identities, or my professional identities encompass different practices, it was a little hard to imagine what the perfect day is. So it was like a mix of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So it's like, I think if I was just directing, I wouldn't be satisfied. If I was just performing, I probably wouldn't be satisfied. If I was just writing, I probably wouldn't be satisfied. I need to be able to express all these different parts of my skill set, and figure out a way I could do all of that regularly. Maybe that's not practical, but I think it's a good sort of thing to keep checking in on. Like, what parts of myself am I nourishing and what part am I like not putting a lot of energy into? This is my dressing room with a star on it. This is me at the mirror with the lights around. I'm looking gorgeous, and it says 5 minutes to places. And so a lot of it is around theater, and it's around performance. Sometimes I'm writing it, sometimes I'm directing it, sometimes I'm the one performing it.
That's amazing. What about how many hours of sleep are you getting, and when are you eating dinner, or who are you with?
So like I imagine myself performing, say, on Broadway. So I'm not off work before like 11. And then I'm going to eat dinner at like a local diner with like friends or whatever. So I'm not getting home till after midnight. I'm probably not going to sleep till after 2, maybe closer to 4. But then I don't work until, like, I don't have morning jobs unless I have deadlines. Yeah. But I imagine myself sleeping from like 4 a.m. to noon.
That's awesome.
It's a good life, right?
Yeah.
I wake up at noon every day.
But you're going to bed at 4.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm working, and I'm like, I have to be at the theater at like 7, and so I only have from 12 to 7 to truly work on other things, which is important.
It's what I'm hearing was maybe not an epiphany, but was helpful for me to hear is that it sounds like there's 3 to 4 core expressions that you want to have in your life as a whole.
Yeah, I want to just make sure that they're all there.
Yeah.
Maybe some days are devoted to some more than others, but they're all there.
It's awesome. How do you see your personal life interjecting into the professional life? In your perfect day?
Well, what's nice about my personal life and all the like physical activity and the nature and the friends and all that stuff is that provides inspiration for like the writing. But I don't see myself being on Broadway but then opening up my French doors to Yosemite.
You never know. You could hang glide in.
So there seems to be a little bit of a, not conflict, but I don't know how I could have both at the same time.
They might not happen on the same day.
But they may not happen on the same day.
Do you see friends or family that have nothing to do with your work on your ideal professional life? Yeah. Or do you get sleep still? Do you have time to do exercise or take a nap or read a book that has nothing to do with work?
I guess 12 to 7 of my professional day is as much of this as possible. So it might be a swim, a hang out with a friend, some nature. But once I start working, and ideally, no, I wouldn't have family around. I separate my work from my family pretty hardcore.
I understand.
It's really important to me.
It's awesome, and it's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Can we stamp it up for Rami, please?
Woohoo!
Thanks.
Okay, T.H.E, could you share with us
Yay.
your ideal professional life?
Yeah. So I think mine would be like a 5-hour day thing for work. And so I have just waking up in the morning, setting my intention, looking at my calendar, that type of thing. Having 1 hour for logistical stuff like emails and stuff like that. And the reason why I don't have to do a lot of logistics is because I have a team of folks who are handling the marketing component and the logistics of live events and following up and interviews and things like that. So I really spend about 30 minutes a day just working on my blog or creating content that just feels good to me. And I have 2 hours of coaching, which would probably mean it's just 1 or 2 clients or individual clients or a group coaching. So just one coaching thing a day. And 1 hour, this one I kind of liked is different, is 1 hour of envisioning myself. So dreaming up or of what I want to do in my professional life. And the one that came up for me right now was just being on stage and the message that I want to, share with the world. So that's what came up for me. So on another perfect day, I might actually be on stage and I might actually be doing that work. But in this particular one, for whatever reason, I was preparing for it and envisioning it and it's happening. But it was a slow day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for lunch or dinner, who were you hanging out with? Are you eating by yourself? Are you having business meetings?
For dinner, I said with my partner, preparing dinner and eating together. I didn't say much for lunch. So probably by myself, or it could be a business meeting too. I like both. Business meetings are fun too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know in your personal life, you said the first thoughts were really important for you. Was that important for this one too?
Yeah. My first thought over here I said was, I'm so happy and grateful to be inspiring so many people today. So that was really important, like making that actual connection with folks. And for my last thought, I said, I'm so happy and grateful to be financially free to live my passion.
That's awesome.
Every day, yeah.
You don't have to tell us, but do you have a price point in mind for how much you would be receiving for coaching?
I didn't put that here, but yeah, I've definitely given that a lot of thought too in the past. It didn't come up right now, right here, because I was actually thinking of the physical, like what am I doing?
Yeah.
And just knowing that I have a team of folks handling a lot of the not necessarily that, that they're basically handling it, right? So I can just do my work.
They're handling the things their expertise is in and your areas of, go ahead, you do this.
Exactly. Like the marketing piece, I don't want to be doing the follow up with logistics of interviews or selecting places for speaking or retreats that I'm putting on. They can be handling that and I can just focus on the content or the connection and have fun.
So you have a publicist.
Yeah, I could have a publicist too.
Or a
Definitely
manager,
an assistant.
Oh.
Yes. maybe even a financial officer or someone who's managing the books. So basically everyone else do the boring stuff.
The stuff that's exciting to them but boring to you.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Wonderful.
I need to add that to my day too. That's
Yes.
amazing.
So connecting with my team will be really important. And the people on my team will be folks that really share my passion. And they are also living their passion by just being part of the team. So it can't be a disconnect in that way.
That's awesome. Can we snap it up for Tasneem?
Yay!
What about you, Adora?
Yeah, Dora.
Mine,
What's
I
your
think,
professional perfect day like?
yeah, it's not going to be a surprise to anybody. So I wake up with a bunch of fun ideas to try on set that day. I sneak out of bed so as not to wake my love or the kids. And my personal trainer and I do some exercise for about 30 to 45 minutes to really get me moving and getting the day going. Shower, have some sort of healthy breakfast. And just as the car arrives to pick me up to take me to set, so I give everyone a quick kiss and a prayer before I head out for the day. And in the car, that's when I settle down social media, check my emails as we head to set, and I just kind of catch up on stuff. And once I'm on set, all the actors and crew are stoked to be there and really excited about what we're doing that day. Want to try out the ideas. They themselves have come with some really cool ideas for us to try, and we just get a bunch of really cool things shot. So by lunchtime, we've done the bulk of the schedule and it's all taken care of so that we can have a leisurely lunch, and craft services have outdone themselves as usual. And we have a great selection of things to eat and rest. And I check emails, catch up with my love and the kids, and just send little messages. Then after lunch, we get back to shooting, and it's at a lot less hectic a pace because we've done the bulk of everything we need to do. And we just take our time, ease through the day, catch the best of the light at magic hour, and it just looks so glorious. Everything's just working out, and we know that this film is just going to be something we'll be proud of for a long time, or the TV show is going to be something we're very proud of for a long time. And finish off for the day, have a nice, restful, peaceful debrief with the cast and the crew, and just talk about the stuff for the next day and how they felt about the day and any other ideas that might have come up, while we have some lovely little appetizers and maybe some little drinks. And then the car gets me on my way home. And again, I just catch up on emails and stuff on the way back. But yeah, I forgot to mention the car's always playing classical music. And it's usually the same driver who I get on with. She and I really understand each other. So she does her thing, I do my thing, and we look out for each other. And by the time I get home, it's time to either eat with everyone, or if the kids are doing some sort of performance, or my love's doing some sort of performance, I can go out and do that with them, or we can go out and meet friends, or we can just go and catch a show, whatever. Just time to do family and friends stuff before coming home. And maybe again, like with my personal day, watching something or reading and going to sleep and catching up on lots of sleep, restfully, eager to start the next day.
How much sleep are you getting on your ideal work day?
Between 8 and 9, I would say.
Ooh, I like that. So what time does that mean you have to get to bed?
If I'm getting up around 6 or maybe even 5, then probably getting to bed by 10.
And as you're laying down, you're about to fall asleep, your last thought is...
Oh, tomorrow's going to be so awesome.
That's wonderful. Can we snap it up for Adora?
Yay!
Thank you so much for sharing. Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed while you were writing, I couldn't see what you were writing, but I noticed while we were doing the 2 exercises that you finished writing your perfect personal life much quicker. You finished that much quicker than you finished your perfect professional life. So you finished the personal one much quicker than the professional one. But then when I saw what you wrote, I saw that you had actually written the same amount for both of them. So I'm curious. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on that?
I think with my personal life, it's more broad strokes. So it's very easy to just know how to fill in the spaces. But with my professional life, it has to be a bit more detailed. It's more scheduled. I think with my personal life, it would be maybe 3 or 4 diary entries. But for my work life, I like to have maybe 7 or 8 so that I'm managing my time more carefully. So I think that's probably why.
Do you feel that one or the other has a more active and detailed vision already created when you walked into this exercise? Do you think that is a factor at all, or?
I don't think so. I think for both, I had to think through both of them equally. Just imagining that if everything was going as perfectly as I wanted, I could do all these things, as opposed to, what we were all doing. I'm sure Rami and Tasneem were thinking the same thing. Every time you're always like, but realistically, this is probably what would happen. Okay, no, don't think about necessarily what you think the problems will be. Think about if everything goes great and perfectly and as you wish it to be. That's what this is about. So.
And how did it feel to let yourself dream like that?
Liberating. It was truly, truly liberating. Yeah, I see you nodding, Tasneem. It just is. And it was also good to see that it's also really realistic. There's nothing on this list that can't be done and probably will be done at some point. Not necessarily every single day, but very, very achievable, all of it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adora.
Thank you.
I can share a part of mine. I know for me, this one's exciting because I've been able to manifest it is I didn't want to feel pressure. I don't want to feel pressure going to bed the night before that I'm not going to get enough sleep the next day. So my dream would be that I wouldn't have to have any business meetings or have any hard starts until noon that day. So I don't have to go to any meetings. I don't have to have any deadlines. There's nothing I have to do until noon. So from midnight to noon, I don't have to worry. And I envision that I would get 10 hours of sleep and have enough time to wake up, meditate, go for a brief walk. And then I would do either a group fitness class or have a personal trainer train me. And I would shower somewhere that's super awesome and towels that aren't mine, somebody else washes them. And then
like the Jetsons.
Or like a real nice gym, where it's like you don't have to worry about this. And then I go into a lunch meeting with somebody, whether it's face-to-face, audio, or a group meeting with my team where we all are totally cool with people eating during the meeting. So I'm eating while getting caught up on the day with the team. And then my passions are leadership development and music. So each day would be different depending upon which one I was diving into. There'd be a little bit of both, like Rami was saying, but each day would have a centeredness to it. It would involve looking online and seeing that the online community I'm creating, everybody's loving my question of the day and we're having great conversations on it and people are sharing their gratitudes and we're talking back and forth, and I'm either performing that night at a concert or I'm facilitating a workshop for tons of people. And that in my professional life, I would probably fall asleep somewhere different than I woke up because I'd be going to another show or going to another workshop I was facilitating in another country or in another city. So that would be my vision.
That sounds hard. That's beautiful. It sounds tough.
That's why I'd have it pampered in the beginning because I would never have to be anywhere until noon, so I can wake up and I have a personal trainer that travels everywhere with me, a personal chef. So wake up and, I go to a gym where they train me and then get a massage throughout the day and my meals are all taken care of, and that'd be part of it.
It's so interesting. My insight into hearing that and everything else we've shared is how this is like all true for us right now. But like say as our lives change, say one of us has children, how some of this might have to change.
Yeah. And not even have to, that we'll want it to.
Yeah, like suddenly our ideal day includes these children, And maybe suddenly you don't want to be sleeping somewhere else, somewhere new every night. You want to tuck your kids into bed every night,
Yeah.
like whatever that means.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important for us to continue to check in on these visions and to not hold on to them that, well, I thought this, or I've always wanted this to be it, and now something new's come into my life. For instance, for me, I've always wanted to be a musician, but I've wanted to put attention and time into the Celebration Academy. And if I thought, no, but I can't because it's not directly music, I can't do this, that we have to allow our visions to grow with our life.
Evolve
and grow.
That's really resonating with me.
You care to expand?
Just that, those transitions in life are real, and they're welcomed as well, or at least in my case, they're welcomed. But sometimes that idea of this is what I'd envisioned for life, when it's challenged, it feels like, oh, I'm somehow being untrue or somehow compromising. And that's a mindset. That it's not necessarily true, but it feels that way. So when it feels that way, what I'm hearing is that it's just helpful to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, with this coming up in my life, so for me, it's marriage, what does that look like? What would I love it to be? So, yeah.
And I'd encourage anyone who's entering a relationship like you are to do this with your partner.
Yeah.
And to see where they align, especially with work-life balance.
Do it before the wedding.
And after and continually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know one of the most important things is to create your vision for you and then the people in your life who are the most important, whether it's your partner, but everyone else's opinion, taking and appreciating, but not letting it judge us.
Yeah.
For instance, like you were saying, Rami, waking up at noon. Some people might hear us say that, but like, oh, you have such a pampered life. It's like, I went to bed at 4. It's the same thing as you did from noon to 8. But even that defensiveness is people want us to fit into their box and this standard of success, which we talked about when we drew the picture of what have we been taught success is, and taking the reins ourselves and saying, this is what I believe success is. And I'm not going to let societies, my parents, my best friends, Instagram's judgments of my life influence my vision.
Yeah. That's really important.
Any last thoughts or reflections before we conclude for the day?
Useful. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, indeed. It's me, Tom Earl. We're one-on-one, back again. That was fun because this activity just gets me in such a playful and awesome mindset. It's really a lot of joy for me. I love this one. I hope you had a great time with it too. I know I say this and I appreciate all the people who invite me in. I would love to see and hear what you created. If you'd be willing to either post it below or if you post it on Instagram or something like that, tag me at Tom Earl Artist or send me an email. Copy and paste it if you wrote it or take a picture of it and send it to me, tom@tomearl.com. Really, I love interacting with all of the people who are a part of the Celebration Academy like you. We have such a great community. And it's just always so joyful to get to see what your responses are. So if you have a moment, I'd love to see it. I hope that you revisit this. And it doesn't have to be revisiting your previous answer. Once you've written it, as I've said, the process is as important, if not more important, than the product. So as someone said that sometimes they worry that they write it and then they don't do anything with it, what we want to do with it is the energy it gives us to get excited about something we want to manifest. The energy it gives us about something that we are striving towards. Getting excited about it. So what I would invite you to do is periodically, whether it's on your morning walk or on a Sunday reflection or once a month, get excited again about your vision for your perfect personal day and perfect work day by either re-listening to this activity Or just asking yourself, if tomorrow I could wake up and it'd be my perfect personal day or my perfect work day, and get really playful about it, what would that look like? So think about that. Check back in on this activity periodically, and I hope you are leaving with a smile on your face. Any questions you have, post them below, or as I've often given the channels, you can get a hold of me or our team. Let us know any questions you have, any clarifications, or any suggestions for future classes that you might have. As you know, we're periodically and continually updating and adding classes to the Celebration Academy. Of course, you know that every month we have a live workshop that we do where we all come together. So you can bring your questions to that too, get them answered live. Come be a part of that with us so we can see your amazing, smiling, wonderful, beautiful, powerful self. My friends, I look forward to having you join us tomorrow. We are going to talk about bonsai plants and goldfish. If that's not a nice teaser or trailer to get you to tune in, I don't know what is. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on day 6. As always, I'm wishing you peace and blessings. See you tomorrow. Hey, Tom Earl here again. Just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Celebration. Your support, your energy means the world to me. Hey, if you have 2 seconds, I would be honored if you were to go over to wherever you're listening to your podcast and review this podcast. 5 stars, 1 million stars, somewhere between that range would be very much appreciated. You're the absolute best. I love you. And if you're interested in more courses that I have to offer, just head to tomearl.com/courses and you can sign up for 30 days free to our online school. You're the best, my friends. Looking forward to you joining us next week. All right. Peace and blessings. One more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.